Hi, I'm Christian Howe.
Hi, and I'm Chris Reeve.
And in this how-to, we're going to create two very different looks, just by changing the lighting and the background, but keeping the same model and the same pose. I've always found that Afro-Caribbean skin looks great in black and white photographs, and with the right conversion it can really have a huge amount of impact. With a great model and a strong pose, you can really be on your way to a winning image. As we know, black and white image conversions are a matter of personal taste, so I'll concentrate on how I lit these photographs instead. So let's go through the setup. For this, I'm using two 500 heads pointed at a white background. Basically, this creates a nice high-key background. Due to the amount of space that we've got here, I've changed the high performance reflectors to single grid reflectors. This helps control the light more. In line with the original Lightbox setup, I've placed the softbox up above the model. This helps throw the shadows downwards and helps create a more symmetrical face. I'm meeting to f16, however I'm going to set my camera to f11. This is because Afro-Caribbean skin is a lot darker, and therefore there are occasions when you need to stop up to allow more light in. Okay, let's shoot. So we've used the same model, the same pose, and all we've had to do is drop down a black background. Then we've turned the two lights around that were lighting the white background to face the model, and this creates a really nice rim light. This just goes to show how two very simple changes can have a really dramatic effect on the overall image. In order not to lose the model in the background, we need to create some separation. This is done by changing high performance reflectors for something a bit narrower, such as grid reflectors with honeycomb grids. Position them to face the model so they light the back and the side of her. To light the face a little, you can use a polyboard or a reflector just out of the frame. Look for catch lights in the eyes, because without them, the eyes can look flat. Okay, let's shoot. It's great to try the setups that we've used here today, but it's also really important to get out there and try and experiment yourself. Don't be confined by what we've done. There's so many ways of doing things, you just can't go wrong.
Great shots there of Keiko, Christian. Here are a few tips to get you going. With Afro-Caribbean skin, you get the problem of proximity highlights, where the light source is actually too close to the model. So just be aware of this and just move your light source slightly further back. There are several ways of doing black and white conversions in Photoshop, but my favourite is the channel mixer. You get far more control with your end result. Another tip when shooting Afro-Caribbean skin is, instead of using a flatter light with a softbox or an umbrella, maybe use some grids and some spots and kind of light from behind, light from the top, and really add some texture and some contrast to the skin colour. Remember, the quality of your RAW file also depends on the ISO you're using. Most modern DSLR cameras have a base of 100 or 200 ISO, where at 800 or even 3200 ISO, you're going to get far more noise and far more artifacts, especially if you underexpose and have to save it later in Photoshop.
Great tips there, Chris. I hope you found it useful.
Remember to check us out on the Bowens website, and we'll see you next time on How To.